You might want to call this a street cinema takeover. From some of the most dangerous communities in our country, urban web series creators are reaching millions of viewers worldwide and controlling the narrative about their lives. But are they teaching life lessons or reinforcing negative stereotypes?
Said we do it 'cause we got it, just the money and the violence.
The breakthrough success of the hit web series Money and Violence, which started on YouTube and now has major distribution, gave birth to a new genre full of crime, violence, and tough lessons, told by those who actually live them.
We can't expect the world to understand us because the world doesn't live in our neighborhoods or walk in our shoes every day. You know, and what this means is that the responsibility is on us to paint an accurate picture.
Verneau accepted the MLK Award with fellow cast members at the first annual Urban Web Series Awards show. It was produced by Doug K.D. Aparicio and Tefan Pop Dunn, the co-creators of another popular series, Project Heat. Their episodes are based in Brooklyn's notorious pink houses, and they see them as a survival guide.
In the projects, you know, it's a lot of negativity that goes on. And people don't care. I mean, literally don't care. They don't care about your life. They quick to take it. And this is something that you could avoid.
From the Mayhem series in Elizabeth, New Jersey, to Here's to the Throne.
Link up, we gotta link you up with the boys. You already know how it's looking uptown, man.
And the Double Up in East Harlem. The series are mostly focused on the dangers of street life, guns, drugs, and violence. Professor Lenny Williams says the reality of the series holds valuable lessons for teachers in these communities.
Finding out more about these shows, these music, sports, you're able to have a conversation with the student, which brings that respect level. And now you got the respect level, and they're going to listen to some of the lessons that you have to bring in the classroom.
As professionally produced as many of the series are, they usually begin with self-taught cameramen and friends and family as the actors. Besides learning new production skills, being involved can literally change the participants' lives.
Every day I thank God because, you know, I could have been dead, like literally dead. I've been shot twice, once in my face and once in my neck. And God had his purpose for me. That's why I'm still here.
The series are continuing to evolve, with the creators of both Money and Violence and Project Heat deciding not to use curse words in their upcoming seasons. But is that going far enough? Let's find out what our panel has to say. Joining me, Professor Lenny Williams. He's the co-founder of Trill or Not Trill. He has his MBA from New Jersey City University. He's a speaker, educator, and mentor. Lenny, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Also with us is Doug K.D. Aparicio. He is the executive producer and star of one of the hottest web series called Project Heat. He's also the co-founder of the Web Series Awards, which just took place. Doug, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it. Also with us is the man who's kind of the godfather of the urban web series, Moses Mo Verneau. You know him as Rafe on Money and Violence. He's the creator and star of Money and Violence, and basically set off a whole chain of events and inspiration for many, many other people. Mo, I want to start with you on this. When you look and see all the series that are out there now, what do you think?
I think it's a beautiful thing. Anything that can go about that can give people motivation and inspiration to actually chase their dreams in any way, you know, whether it's picking up a camera or whether it's discovering a talent that they may not have even known that they've had as far as writing is concerned. I think it's beautiful to give people a different outlet to express themselves and to also push their dreams.
Doug, what about you in terms of how did you get involved in this?
Well, my partner, Pop, Tefan Dunn, came up with a great idea to write Project Heat, the web series, after we doing an interview one time long ago with Money and Violence. So that just basically pushed us forward to actually come up with the idea of Project Heat.
Are you surprised by how big it's gotten?
Yeah, because when we noticed Money and Violence on one of your shows, we was like, it was just them in this demographic. And then to see where it reach right now in the plateau, man, it's a great thing, great feeling.
And just a short, 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Less than 2 years.
2 years.
Professor Lenny, yeah, it's been amazing. But Professor Lenny Williams, when you look at a lot of the series, they talk about street life, and they talk about street life in a very current way, not like some of the mainstream TV shows do where it's removed or it's people that haven't really been on the streets for a long time. They talk about the violence. We see shootings. We see a lot of drug dealing. We see scamming. We see all these different types of things. Is there a concern on your part as an educator that they're putting out these images, particularly of young men of color, that are negative?
I don't think it's a concern. I think most of the people that watch it have seen it, and we can't take away from the youth watching. I think the biggest concern is the gap. I feel like there's a gap between the educators and the creators of the show. And what I mean by that, if we came together, there's a lot of lessons that can be learned because these individuals actually have a talent. This is an art. It takes an art. It takes a talent to put on these shows, to come up with a storyboard, to edit. And if we can work together and bring these individuals to the school and show them, yeah, this is the real life, but these guys are showing you as a story, as an art. And what they want to do is they want to expose these different things and issues so you know about it. So I feel like educators need to be more open to it. And I feel like the people that are a part of the show, it can only be a stereotype if they're living that life.
And to embrace that. Mo, you've said in previous interviews with us here on Street Soldiers and Fox 5 that one of the reasons you wanted to do this was to show the youth that what are the consequences of these actions.
Yeah, I wanted to find a way to speak to the youth in their language. I think one of the biggest problems with us actually reaching the youth is actually a respect issue, them feeling that we don't understand them and where they come from. So what I did was found a roundabout way to come to them and speak to them in their language. I do a lot of speaking at detention centers and high schools. I was the guest speaker at graduations at junior high schools, and what I think works about what we're doing is the fact that when I walk in, the kids are so enamored by the character that I play that they're willing to listen to me, and that actually, gives me a bridge to actually reach them that isn't there for those that may come at them in a different way.
What about in terms of the locations, Doug? Tell us about some of the things, because you're shooting like many of the other creators and producers. You're shooting right there on the streets, and in the projects, and with people who are not professional actors. I mean, become professional after they've done it for so long. But what are some of the challenges that you face just putting these episodes together?
Well, the challenge is like I said, we do guerrilla filming, so without having a permit on these locations, it gets kind of tough, especially if you're doing a scene like acting with a cop, acting as a cop impersonation, because that's how they look at it. If you don't have a permit for that, you have the risk of getting locked up for it.
And have you guys had problems like that when you've been doing the filming?
Well, because I had knowledge of it, I kind of avoided myself. Like something like a BB gun, which is a propeller weapon, you can't use that. See, a lot of filmmakers is unaware of that. So if you get a toy gun, is an exception to that, even though it's still you faking it was a weapon.
Right.
But a propeller gun with BB guns, you will get locked up for it. And I suggest to everybody not to do that.
And Mo, you've gone with Money and Violence from basically doing everything yourself to almost a full Hollywood type production.
Yeah, we went from doing it amongst the four of us our first season to having a small production crew and being on Tidal our second season to now for the third season we're actually going back and forth and deciding what network we're going to go to because we should be going to cable or to Netflix. So
that's got to be exciting.
Oh, definitely. More than anything, what's most exciting is just having the larger budget and what's going to be possible because of a larger budget, and how much more depth we're going to be able to include in the story, and how much of a larger audience that we're going to be able to reach. So with that being said, I feel like the responsibility is also on us to make sure that we keep the subject matter as socially conscious as possible, and to keep that message that was always there that made us different.
And the authenticity.
Correct.
Because the authenticity, even when you're transferring into these different platforms, that's got to be a critical factor.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what separated Money and Violence from a lot of programming that was on the silver screen. So we never want to lose that authenticity because it is what makes the show the show.
Lenny, why do you think the youth respond to this so much?
I think I always go by this mentality. The youth always wants, and especially teenagers, they do different what their parents tell them to do, right? And that's why I'm a mentor, and that's why I go out there. Your parents tell you not to watch the show, you're gonna watch the show. I remember when I was younger, the movies for us was Boys in the Hood and Juice, and
right.
I'd always credit my parents for even to let me allow to watch that, but they were there to let me know, look, this is just movies, this is art, these are the learning lessons within this movie, and so on and so forth. And that's what we have to do as educators. Like I said, again, teachers can't shun away that's working in these neighborhoods from those shows. They need to watch those shows so they understand the conversation between their students in the classroom.
This is Street Soldiers. I'm your host, Lisa Evers. We're talking about urban web series, the explosion in their popularity. We'll be back right after this. No N-word
No
at all.
curse, no N-word, no curse, and nothing.
Let me ask you guys this, in terms of money, because there's a lot of people, I'm going to get right to that, because I know a lot of you watching right now, you want to know about, can you make money with this? How do you make money with this? How do you make money?
Well, like I said, merchandising, monetizing your actual videos on YouTube, dollars to the cents, but it works. You could product placement, product integration, and those are the forms of ways you can make some dollars.
And then Mo, in terms of your progression from how you started, because you told us the story was like how you got the camera, you went on Google, you looked on the internet, like how do I shoot stuff?
Yeah, you know, I literally woke up one morning and just decided that this was something that I wanted to tackle. Got myself a camera, put together a storyline, and just went out there and shot it. Never edited a day in my life. Learned how to edit off of YouTube, and I just basically took my shot and put it out there, and it was received. But I'm also grateful for the fact not only was it received, but it was received exactly how I had intended it to be. You know, more than just another gangster tale glorifying violence. People were able to see that it was just a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down.
Doug, what about you with Project Heat?
Well, what we did was we designed a system to end up helping our cast members make some money, right? So like, we're giving them some clothing to sell. Some of them made a lot of money off of it, you know, pay some bills, but they have to understand that this wasn't done overnight, and everybody doesn't value the show the same.
Right.
We have to make them value it. So we have to always raise the bar, show them that, look, we do better filming like Mo did for season 2, you know, get people to actually pay more attention, like the award ceremony. So once we did the award ceremony, everybody looking at us totally different now. Like they got something.
Right.
So now that's when
they have some kind of achievement that they can show people instead of people just saying, what are you doing out there filming with your friends in front of the project?
And the turnout was like, the venue hold 350, it was 400 and something people showed up. And people, almost 200 something people still outside. So, and they wanted to shut it down because it was so much.
Too many people.
Yeah, we couldn't help the moment, but we were just embracing it. We enjoyed it, and it was successful. Now they want to talk.
No, and congratulations, congratulations to you and Pop and everybody that works so hard on that. Lenny, in terms of the narratives that are out there, when you look around as an educator, as a speaker, as a mentor, when you look around at the narratives that are out there about street life, do you see them all being the same? Do you see diversity there? Tell me what your thoughts are on that.
In my opinion, I mean, every city has different issues, right? There's gang issues in one city, and there might not be gang issues in another city. And I feel that's the importance of having different shows and showing different communities. Because again, you know, I'm just all about, there's so many teachers in those communities that get in their car and they go left, and they don't know what's going on with these kids at home. And if they take the time out to actually watch this show, it bridges that gap, and they're able to talk to their students and say, oh, I understand why you can't sit and take a test for an hour. I understand why you have these mental health issues. I understand why you can't control yourself in my class. So I just think that the narrative needs to be there for each and every town. And I think the other side of it is the people that are running these shows, they just got to continue to keep developing and becoming better, but also find a way when they're branching out and building with these companies to give back to the community, to improve the community that they came from. Because yeah, it's great to make money, yeah, it's great for companies to sponsor you, but is the community getting better as well? And I feel like they have that power as leaders, as people paying attention to them at that point to really go back and give back, and everybody can just come together.
What about the writing part of it? Because this is a skill, you know, cornerstone of communications, whether we're doing it on a phone, whether we're doing it on a laptop, whether we're doing it, people are doing it in a notebook for rhymes, you know, writing their rap songs that way.
Old school way.
Which some artists still do. But the writing part of it, do you guys pre-write the scripts? Do you have scripts, or
Everything
do you do
scripted.
unscripted?
No,
Everything is
we're
scripted.
different from the way his show. Our show is the idea and a storyboard, and then improv and points. So when we have me, Pop, and my partner Sha, we sit down, we go over the storyboard, where the character's going, who's available. See, that's the key thing. What everybody don't know is not every character is available.
Because people have other jobs
They got
too.
things to do, so I have to work. Sometimes I have to create a scene right on the set, but I know how
He's got to work, so we
I
can't.
know how the storyboard is going, so I follow my story. Then I said, you could say it in your way to keep it authentic, but I need you to hit these points. So
Right.
that's why our show sounds so hip and so cool, because they're actually speaking in the way they would speak every day.
They're not speaking some kind of
Like they're not
dialogue.
speaking like me.
Right.
Like everybody can't speak like me. So I want you to speak like you, but I need you to say this, that,
And hit this
that.
point in your
and
own words.
end this way and get out of the scene.
Mo, what about that in terms of writing the scripts? Are you still doing all the writing?
Yeah, everything, like every single word on the show is scripted. You know, every single word. At the end of the day, like I approach everything strategically. Like even when I started doing the show, the first thing I did was I sat back and I thought about every single movie that was a blockbuster and what was it that made these movies great, and came up with everything from quotable lines, funny moments, moments that were memorable, things that people would go to work the next day and talk about.
Right.
Because word of mouth is like the biggest promotion ever. Yeah. So I made sure to implement all of these things and just making it strategic. Like I told everyone, any and everything that you saw in Money and Violence was there for a reason. It wasn't there just 'cause.
Or to fill time.
Yeah, or to fill time. And I just felt that scripting everything just gave me more control of the world itself. That the show exists in. I totally do agree with Pop though, because even though it was scripted, a lot of times I would tell the characters, you can still make it your own. Say it how you would say it, as long as you basically follow the idea that's in the script.
What about in terms of slang? How do you handle, especially as you're transitioning now into these broader platforms? Are there issues with slang, or where they say, oh, you can't really say this, or the cursing, or that type of thing?
With me, a large part of having this type of platform is being responsible. So when the second season came and we were doing our table read, I had my 13-year-old daughter in the room with me, and she was sitting on my lap, and we were reading the first 4 episodes, and every time someone used the word bitch, I would cringe. Okay. And it made me really think about it, and I'm like, okay, you're not comfortable with this being said in front of your daughter. How about the millions of daughters that are in the room when people are watching?
Exactly.
So because of that, I omitted the word from the entire second season.
That's so true.
And it's not me trying to be perfect, but it's just if I identify a problem, then I should feel that I should resolve it.
No, thank you for doing that. As a woman, thank you for doing that.
And like for season 2 for us, like the first season, I noticed that a lot of my cast members used the N-word a lot. I mean, it was
that was going to be my next question. What about the N-word?
Too much.
You hear it on the street. You just walk down to the corner and you're hearing it.
It'll make people feel like your vocabulary is very small. Like you don't have no choice of words.
Right.
So we eliminated it from season 2. So nobody was
no N-word at all.
No N-word, no curse, and nothing.
I'm guilty of using it.
They can't use it, nothing, and they get penalized for that.
What about the B word for the ladies?
No curses, none.
None at all.
Because when I try to,
this is awesome. I had no idea. This
when
is
I try to sell the show to people, like different cultures, and I was showing it to them from season 1, they was looking at me. I don't watch that. I don't watch that. And I didn't like that feeling. Like, I isolated myself.
That they were looking at it, right, in a crazy way.
To only a certain group of people that does that. So by taking myself out of that box and say, you know what, we're gonna kill the cursing all across the board, it made it warm and the feeling was good, because now I can show it to anybody.
Any final word?
I think that, one, if you're an educator, if you're a mentor, if you're really helping the youth in these areas, you should get more involved and understand what these shows are all about. Just like we get more involved with music, we get more involved about sports and news, because it sheds a light on some issues and things that we need to find out and fix, but also say, listen, these guys made opportunity out of these shows.
Right.
So I think that's what's most important.
And hopefully we'll open up opportunities and avenues of expression for your students.
Absolutely.
I want to thank all of you for being with us for this episode of Street Soldiers. I'm Lisa Evers. Remember, use your mind. It's your best weapon. I hope it's your only weapon. And let's push for peace.